Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Growing. I'm Manisha Gupta from the Ananda Permaculture Farm, and today I'm going to take you through my winter garden growing here at what we call our Wi-Fi garden. Now we call this place the Wi-Fi garden because the beds are all shaped like a Wi-Fi symbol, and we have two of them, so we tend to call them 4G and 3G. And I'm sure with the 5G technology coming up now, we'll have to create another garden somewhere which we will call the 5G Wi-Fi garden. Now, whenever we are designing gardens, you must already be familiar with this. We always look at the sun and we look at the water flow. And that's the reason why these beds are designed the way they are, so that they capture most of the water running downstream, as well as always get light, so that you get sufficient sunlight coming in to feed your garden. So shall we get started? All right, so right here at the top of the Wi-Fi, this is really the bottom of it rather, not the top, you will see that is an interspersing of trees as well as plants. So small trees like guavas and peaches and pears can easily find their way in your vegetable garden because they're not going to grow up to be that big eventually. You will always keep them pruned and keep them small. Now let's take a look at what's growing in this row before we move on to the others. Now here is actually a bottle gourd vine, and people are finding it strange, so are we, that it's already winter but we still have the bottle gourd vine going strong, and in fact you'll see up ahead that it also has some fruiting and flowering happening, and it's sort of taken support from the guava. And as you come up here, you'll find that there are a lot of tomato plants which are trellised down here. Now some of our tomatoes look like they are getting a little bit of a viral disease, right? That's the reason these leaves are curling up. And we've been spraying sour buttermilk, which is a good remedy for viruses. But you'll also see the others which are fruiting quite well. And these vines are doing strong and going pretty good. Now, as always, we remove all the lateral vines from our tomatoes and trellis them up so that we get one single vine which focuses on producing fruit. This is actually the start of the bottle gourd, this one. So you can see it's pretty lush out here. And you can see the flowers on it as well, growing through winter. And here are some baby bottle gourds as well. I don't think they're going to do too well. It's probably the end of the plant really, but we don't want to remove it till it's still flowering. Okay, and here you'll also see spring onions. Now these are just onions that we had planted a couple of weeks back, which were small onions, leftovers from last year's crop, and they've all transitioned into becoming nice spring onions which we are having for salad these days. This is the end of the bed. We do have some citrus growing here. I honestly don't know what this is till it doesn't start fruiting. There's another one here and another one down there. But we are waiting for it to start fruiting to get an idea of which one it is. There's some colocasia reaching the end of its life down here in the beds, as well as some okra. And you can see this beautiful okra is just about to split and release all its seeds. So we are going to just pick this up now and save the seed. These are the kind of seeds that you will find in our seed shop. Literally all of them just growing naturally, being preserved naturally, and then finally being packed and put onto the seed shop. Now between these citrus trees, we also have a moringa. We have a couple of moringas in this area which give you a very dappled kind of a shade, and honestly we like them here in our vegetable garden for summer, because in the summer the heat is just so strong, and we feel that if we have some moringa trees providing this little dappled shade, our plants tend to not get stressed out with the extreme heat. So we like to keep them, but honestly if they don't serve that purpose at some point in time, then we will probably just eliminate them. The bottom here you will see is just filled with brinjal. So there's a huge long line of brinjal growing here. And on my right here is romaine lettuce. So again, lettuce is planted here not too far from our kitchen, so we can access it quite easily whenever we need to pick up some salads. So now let's get into the next lane, and I'll try to show you what's going on this side first. So this is baby corn. You will see that there are 3 beds filled with baby corn. We've been enjoying these, this vegetable or crop a lot, because we finally learned how to pick it at the right time and then saute it into a nice little stir fry along with bok choy. It's really quite delicious. So there's baby corn here, and here you will find asparagus. Now asparagus is a perennial, and I had planted it last year, so it's already seen 1 full year through, and it seems like after a year or 2 is when it starts giving really good spears. They become thick and fat. Right now the spears that it's been forming are very thin and sort of spindly, so we are not really taking them, and the spears are, I think, what eventually form these flowers. So you can see that the plant is starting to form some flowers on it. Well, who knows, I might be able to save some of this seed. I'm definitely going to take a shot at that too. Here you will see more tomatoes, again all of them trellised, and these are the kind of lateral branches that we usually just break out. We don't want these, and then we just do a little bit of a twist around this string and keep the tomato plant growing up. So in fact the plant enjoys this little human touch, because unlike crops which you can plant and just disappear, I personally feel vegetables and fruits will only give you fruit if you hang out with them, talk to them, touch them a little bit. They really respond to the human interaction. So very important to walk through your garden. So there's more brinjal here in these beds, but there's also a pear tree here which is quite young, and I'm just training it right now, and one on that side too. And then beyond it you will see the papaya circles, which are actually planted at the bottom of the slope, so that when water rushes down from the upper level into this garden, it usually gets trapped in these papaya circles. And there's another interesting thing happening in the papaya circle which I'll show you. Come. Well, difficult to show you, but an interesting fun fact is that all the grey water from our kitchen actually goes into these papaya circles. So the papayas are benefiting from all the water from our kitchen, and the more dishes we wash, technically, the more papayas we get. Now, isn't that absolutely wonderful that we can use the water coming out of our waste and use the same water to actually irrigate our garden? All you have to do is make sure that you're not using any toxic chemicals and anything that may be harmful to your plants. And now luckily there are enough cleaners available in the market which will allow you to sort of wash your dishes and not harm your gardens. But more about that in some other video. Okay, so this is now our wonderful patches where we have a lot of cauliflower growing, a lot of broccoli growing, a lot of cabbage growing, and bok choy. So you can see this is all cauliflower on the left. It should start flowering soon. It should start flowering soon, hopefully well before the summer sets in. Actually, with the winters becoming a bit shorter, it's really tricky now to grow cauliflower. At least I find it tricky, because by the time the fruit starts really forming, it starts getting hot, and the minute it becomes hot, the flower bolts because it thinks it's end of season, so it starts producing its seed. So it's very, very tricky to actually manage to get a crop well before it becomes hot. This is all cabbage on the right, and you'll see bok choy here which has started flowering already, which is extremely unseasonal and very, very odd. I have never seen bok choy flowering so early in its tenure. But all sorts of strange things are happening in the garden, guys, and that's why I say climate change is here. It's for real. You must get a little bit more involved in growing your own food, pickling, preserving, dehydrating, freezing. All those things are important to build some food security for yourself. And to my right here is broccoli. Lots of wonderful, strong broccoli plants growing here. So getting set for winter and to start flowering, which is basically fruiting. Left here. Okay. So on the left here, there's some more bok choy, and then finally ending in a quinoa tree. And yeah, under the quinoa tree, we have beets growing here. So a lot of beetroot, I started this probably in the nursery and then transplanted it because I don't have too much success with growing beetroots directly into the ground. So you'll see that our gardens are well mulched, wood chips put everywhere, and we just finished doing a lot of trimming of our forest, and a lot of wood chips have therefore been produced. Come. This is spinach in the garden. A lot of nice winter greens which we are enjoying tremendously. We have some leftover chilies from the summer, end of life, not doing too well. And then what we have up here is parsley. So this is all parsley that's growing here, and we are enjoying it in our winter salads. So that's really what's growing. And of course on the right here we've just planted some spring onions which are from seed and started from saplings. So these should start giving us some spring onions by the time those finish. So like this we build continuity in our garden so that we keep getting food no matter what. So that's really the upper part of our Wi-Fi garden, what we call the 4G part. And I'll take you through the 3G Wi-Fi garden in the next episode. So do stay tuned and watch out for it being released pretty soon. So I hope you enjoyed that, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.